Hi, everybody. I'm immigration attorney John Kosravi. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday where we come and talk to you about U.S. immigration law, general education questions about what's going on coming to America or remaining living here, work permits, and all that kind of stuff. So to start, where should we begin? We're here every Wednesday. We've been doing it for 2 years now, 6 p.m. Pacific time at the JQK YouTube page, YouTube clips page, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now TikTok. The username for TikTok is Immigration Lords John. And just shoot your questions out. We'll go one by one. Usually by the end of the show, it's rapid action because we're getting so many questions. Trying to do my best to answer all of them to the best extent possible. And we give away free video consultations. So for those watching the live program, if you like and subscribe and write down consultation, my wonderful assistant Kayla will name off a winner in every 10 minutes for the 30-minute show. So 3 free video raffle winners, free consultation. We'll talk for 15 minutes, 15-minute video consultation to private, get to know what's going on with your case and be able to discuss it. Because we can't really get too intimate or private in the stuff here. It's all general kind of stuff. So that'd be a more private place to do that. So please check that out. And also download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's the best guide out there, which breaks down the whole process and has a lot of additional information. We're gonna probably updating the guide, a new edition in 1 or 2 weeks once I get around to it. So there'll be some updates if you want to download a new one. If you've already subscribed, it might be difficult to get a new one, but just let me know and I'll email it to you or figure out a way to get it to you. But that's coming up. With that said, let's get it started. Okay, so our first question comes from Diego Staub. Hi, can a DACA recipient without legal entry or 245 get a green card through employment sponsored, got DACA after 20 years of age? So it is possible, I guess. There's going to be issues. So first of all, DACA is short for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. This is for people that enter the United States and without permission or some form or fashion overstayed, and they should be removed technically according to the law. But President Obama started something that's still there after many fights in the courts, where he said people who fits within a certain set of rules get deferred action, which means they won't deport them or remove them from the United States unless they have some certain issues, and they'll get a work permit. So you have that. However, if you try to get a green card through employment and you want to apply for it in the United States, you have to have maintained lawful status unless there's some exceptions, which we won't get into here. The alternative is that you leave the United States and do consular processing to finish out your green card case outside. However, if you have been in the United States and have accumulated over 6 months or 1 year of unlawful presence days, once you exit the United States, then you're going to be subject to what's called a 3 or 10-year ban. It's accumulating a lawful presence days. And so I think that the countdown starts when you're 18. And because of that, if you got DACA when you're 20, getting DACA itself causes the unlawful presence days to be told, so you stop accumulating it. But you probably accumulated, more than a year from the age of 18 to 20. And because of that accumulation, if you leave the United States without, something like advanced parole or something like that, you're going to be subject to a 10-year bar to reentry unless you get that waived. So that becomes an issue to try to get it through employment, because you will be subject to the 10-year bar. Let me see. There's this, there's that. There's a thing called 245K that wouldn't apply in your situation, because if you left and came back on parole, parolees don't get to use 245K. So, we'd have to have private consultation to get more detail to see if something exists, but you would probably need what's called an unlawful presence waiver, Form I-601A. And for that, you need to have a qualifying relative, a spouse, which if you had a U.S. citizen spouse, we could work on other ways to do it. But if you have a spouse or parent that's a green card holder, has lawful permanent resident status, they can be a qualifying relative, and then a lot of other stuff go on that. But unfortunately, your basic question is, can you adjust status through employment? Or you can get green card. You can't adjust status unless there's a major exception. And consular processing is the way you have to go. But for that, you eventually could maybe get status. Let's say 10 years of waiting outside, unless you get one of those waivers approved. Now, there's just a lot going on. So there's a 1% exceptions for everything. So we'd have to really dive deep in your individual case, see if these like random exceptions apply. But in most cases like yours, unless you get that waiver, the employment aspect's not going to work through the employer. But there's things change, or there might be some exception we didn't know about. that's the best I can do on this general information. But thanks for your question. Jordan A350 or Parok says, what is the wait time for labor certification with perm processing? It takes a long time right now, maybe 6-12 months or something like that. But I'm not handling any recently, so I don't want to comment on that. We have one question here. Jordan, one of our regulars, says, hey, John, will it complicate my case if I book a one-way ticket on visa? Jordan, I can't remember your exact case, but if you, you're not a resident of the United States or a citizen, and if you fly in on a one-way ticket for a visitor visa, it doesn't look good. It looks like you come here to stay without the intent to go back, but some people, buy the ticket separately, so that could be a different thing. So it may complicate your case. I don't know. But just got to be honest, do what you want to do, and it's up to the CBP officers if you want to hassle you. Pamela Sam says, how long is it taking for an I-485 work permit? 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, a year. That's the best I can give you. Marlon, one of our regulars, said JQK, good to see you. Pamela says, how safe is advanced parole? Well, it's not able to answer a question of how safe something is. How safe is an airplane? How safe is a car? Generally, if people get in cars every day, I get in a car every day, so I say safe enough. And advanced parole is the same as safe enough. Now, whether you get in a car with somebody who's drunk, or you get unlucky and a drunk driver hits you, that's not very safe. So in these kind of cases, for advanced parole, primarily, we have to analyze your individual legal history. Have you had arrests before? Have you had issues? Are there warrants out for your arrest? So criminal stuff is the primary thing, but are there other inadmissibility issues that you have that you may not be aware of or understand or something like that? So once we clear that, some immigration lawyers are very strict. They won't even apply for advanced parole for their clients because they think it's not appropriate. I strongly disagree with that. I don't like that they do that. I tell my clients, if you need travel, avoid it. Advanced parole, for those who don't understand, is special permission to be able to leave and come into the United States. Whereas if you normally just left and came back, you would not be allowed in again, or it would trigger some issues that could be problematic, to put it just a lightly nominal overview of it. But so with this permission for advanced parole for a travel, I say only do it if there's a necessity. There's a family reason, a business reason that's really important. Don't just travel with advanced parole. But it depends on your individual case, Pamela, and I have to analyze you. Even if I analyze the case, I could just say, hey, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But at the end of the day, traveling and coming back into the United States, when you come back in and re-enter, it's up to the port officer, the Customs and Border Protection officer, whatever they want to do, and they can hassle you if they want to. They have full right to it. At the end of the day, they have the law is behind them, and so it's something you just got to be mindful of if you want to take that risk or not. Molly, when it says I'm locked in, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm locked in, but good to hear. I think you're back. You're in the United States, so hopefully that's the case. The Queen of Hat Kitsch says, how long does it take for your adopted child to get approved? There's too much going on there. It's not timelines. It could take years, but there's a lot going on there. I would need to analyze the case, and timelines are very hard to give. Diego Sop says, thank you. You're welcome. Beltran asks, how long do you have to wait to become a citizen if I got my green card through VAWA? I don't handle VAWA cases. I'm not exactly sure when they issue the green card date based on that. Typically, you have to wait 5 years from the date you got your green card, but essentially just there are exceptions to VAWA where sometimes you do it based on the 3-year chart instead of the 5-year chart, because if you're married to a U.S. citizen, it gets kind of nuanced. But to be honest, I don't handle Violence Against Women Act cases, VAWA cases, so I don't follow the nuances of how citizenship would potentially be timed on that. But and the average case is 5 years after getting your green card. If there may be some exceptions for you, but I don't get into that. This is Doza says, just drop by to say hi. Thanks for your great work. Thank you, Doza. God bless you. Look forward to some good news popping up in everything that you're doing. So stay in touch for sure. Walid asks, do you send all your info by mail or scan them to the website? Do I send all your info by mail? I'm not sure what you mean, sending all your info in mail or scan them to the website. I'm not sure what you mean, Walid. Please be more specific. Can a nurse with I-140 approved from a company decide to adjust status from B2 visa? This is a question we get a lot. Can you enter with a tourist visa and then adjust status? Technically, it is possible. The negative aspects would be, one is your case has to be have the ability to apply for adjustment of status based on the preference category. So If there's a backlog of cases in your category, then no. But let's say it's current and you can file the form for adjustment of status. And in that case, you got to look, what was your intent? Did you come in with a tourist visa with the intent to actually stay here? Or did you happen to be here on a tourist visa and then realize you could adjust status and change your mind? So we'd have to analyze that, because USCIS could potentially come back and say you misused and abused a tourist visa, you lied and misrepresented yourself, and you actually used what's a temporary visa, tourist visa, to come temporarily and then leave the United States, but you actually really did it to come to the United States, file for adjustment of status because you didn't want to do consular processing. So we have to analyze that to see what it is, and you have to take some risks to see whether you want to do that or not. It's not up to the immigration attorney, it's not up to you, it's up to some USCIS officer how they're going to interpret that. So we got to see what the facts are and how we could defend ourselves. So for example, if you, and I talked about this in the earlier question with A. Jordan S. A. Jordan, I think it's the screen name that they have. But you know, if you have a one-way ticket, it doesn't look good. It's like, oh, you can't have a one-way ticket, that was your intent. But if you have a return ticket, okay, it might help to show that you had, you know, you're going to go back. If you had work back home that you didn't quit, that was there, that's another thing I can show you are going to go back home and you stay here. So it depends on the whole story and the facts. And so you got, it's not something I can just say right here. It's just case specific, and it's up to the judgment of a USCIS officer and their discretion. I do want to quickly announce our winner of our free lottery, free consultation raffle. The first one is Diego Saab. Diego, thank you so much for coming on the show. I think I'd ask some questions maybe about DACA and stuff. What I want you to do is take a screenshot of wherever you're watching this so your username pops up, I know it's you, and email me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you instructions on how to schedule a consultation with my office. Free 15-minute video consultation where we can talk about your case in private. For those just tuning in on the live show, we give free video consultations as a raffle, as a courtesy, a gift to viewers. All you got to do is like and subscribe and write consultation in the comment section, and my wonderful assistant Kayla will announce a winner in 10 minutes, another one 10 minutes after that. So you have 2 more positions left for the free video consultation. And if you're interested in a marriage green card, a fiance green card visa, which leads to a green card, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's the ultimate source for the information that you need. All it's there. Even if you're not doing the case, download it, see what I put it there. You'll be like, wow, this guy just gave away the farm and told people what to do. I'm not hidden about how to do this stuff. Honestly, people, it's a very expensive process. So if I could help you in some way, either do it yourself in a logical aspect. You can't fully rely on this book. You got to do your research and do all that kind of stuff. Or just get more familiarized with the information. So before you hire a lawyer, you already know what's up. So when you have the consultation with them, you're not bothering asking about the basic questions. You got the basic stuff out of the way. The consultation time is down to business. What are the hardcore, more next level kind of questions? And then you could judge your immigration attorney based on that because you already know the basics. So download that at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. So with that, let's take some more questions. Vegetanatios asks, any news on TPS recipients being able to apply for permanent residency? No particular news. They took away one helpful option is if you had advanced parole, but nothing new. Hashim Assad says, how can I change the place of birth legally in my passport if I want to change to a different country? I don't understand. If you want to change your place of birth, if there's an error, you contact your home country and say there's an error. But you can't just willy-nilly change the place of birth. I might be understanding your question wrong. Sam asks, my I-485 asylum-based case transferred to the NBC National Business Center, the National Benefits Center in Missouri from Texas Service Center. Was the next process. 3 years haven't passed. I'm not sure why it's taking 3 years for adjustment to happen. That's a serious delay. The process is that they review it and they might do an interview. That's pretty basic, but I'm not sure why 3 years it's passed as your I-485 is filed. You want to talk with immigration lawyers to get a better look at your case and analyze what's going on. Oluwa Sejia asks, I came to the U.S. at the age of 30. I'm now filing for citizenship through marriage. What can I do about the selective service, or I don't need it for my citizenship document? If you're past the age of 30, let me back it up. So when you're a green card holder for so many years, eventually you can file for U.S. citizenship. When you file for U.S. citizenship, there's a question that asks, did you sign up for the selective service draft between the age of 18 and 26? If you didn't, potentially you can file for naturalization because they considered bad moral character that you didn't do selective service. This is the requirement that many countries have, where males under a certain age have to apply or be ready to go in the military. Now, the U.S. still has that. They don't actively pick up people and train them, but they gather all their names so that if something happens where they need to collect young men to go and have them die in war, and then they'll know where they are, who they are, this kind of stuff. It's called the Selective Service Draft. And so in that case, if you didn't sign up, it becomes a problem, but it's only a problem during the moral character period before filing of 3 or 5 years. So if you're applying for citizenship based on being married to a U.S. citizen, and you could have filed in 3 years, your moral period is 3 years. So you take this 26, the higher age limit where you're supposed to have filed, add 3 years to that, and you could file after that. They don't worry about that. If you're in the 5-year model, you wait 5 years after 26, and then you could file for that without having a problem for not having registered for selective service. But one note is that if you file for adjustment of status, many times USCIS will automatically register you for selective service draft. So you came to the U.S. at age 30. It doesn't even matter. Actually, going back to your question, I guess I was getting the background for everyone watching. If you came at age 30, you're too old to be able to file for selective service draft, so it doesn't even matter at this point. So that's the easy question there, but hopefully that knowledge and information helps a lot of people because people get stuck. I have people who didn't sign up for it. Mostly the time is, someone, a father gets a green card and their children come with them. They come to the United States. They're not aware of the selective service draft. And then they're 18, 19, 20. They don't sign up. All of a sudden, they're like 28. And they're like, okay, I want to file for citizenship. And I'm like, well, you can't do that right now because you didn't sign up. Now, in the past, sometimes they were flexible, saying we don't know that those requirements, this and that. But they may or may not approve that. So in these kind of cases, if they were supposed to file selective service and they didn't, usually, unless there's an urgency for the people, we just say wait the 3 or 5 year period till you're old enough where they don't care about that, and then file for naturalization. But what you can do is, if you're not sure if you file or not, just type in selective service draft in Google, and the official government website will take, I think, your social security number, your name, date of birth, or something, and it'll say whether you're in the system or not. So if you're in the system, then you're in. If you're not, then you got to think about what to do. But thank you for your question. It's very important. It's an unknown thing people aren't aware of, but it's really important to deal with. Nikki Bailey asks, should I renew my DACA while waiting on my pending I-130 and I-485? If you want to spend money, yeah, why not? Especially if you need the work permit or something like that. But if you have a strong case, I mean, it depends. Like, again, if you have money, why not? But it's probably not needed if you have a good case. So that's about it. Mrs. Zeshania says, could you please tell what's the I-290B processing time and what's next if they approve the I-290B? So they say the I-290B, that's the appeal process. So if you have certain cases with USCIS that are not approved and denied, you can appeal it using Form I-290B. They say it takes 6 months. It could take longer. What's the next steps to approve? It depends on what the situation is. There's different I-290Bs for different kinds of cases. And it depends on if you file it as a motion to reopen, to review, motion to reopen, or motion to reopen, or something else. I forgot what it was. I don't get really denials to have to use this that often, so it's not something I deal with daily. But what's important is sometimes it'll get approved, but it'll still take forever for them to activate the approval. So or they might say we need more information, and they'll send you an RFE 2 years later. So the reality is, just like much of immigration, there's no real timeline that I could give you that's reliable. So that's the best I could tell you. Don't worry about the time. If you were denied, we got to see why you were denied. Maybe you could just refile the case. Potentially, it might be faster. So that's a decision you have to make with how you want to do it. But thanks for your question. Esme asks, could I apply for food stamps if I'm a U.S. citizen? My husband has DACA. Would it be a public charge? You're a U.S. citizen. You could do whatever you want to do. Just don't get any for your spouse or anything like that. But you're a U.S. citizen. You're entitled to these kind of things. That's what your taxes are for. August says, thank you. You're welcome. Waleed asks, once your case is at the National Visa Center, do you send all your info by mail or do you scan them into the website? So the National Visa Center is the organization that collects documents when someone is doing consular processing. They're going to do their immigrant visa green card interview at a U.S. embassy. Before the interview is scheduled, there's an organization called the NVC, or National Visa Center, that collects the documents. And up until like 5 or 6 years ago, you'd mail the documents in. But nowadays, I think every office, unless there's a unique case that requires this, everything is uploaded to their website, ceac.state.gov, or something, CAC is what we call it, CAC. It's uploaded and completed there. I have a really detailed video on consular processing. If you go to YouTube and just type in JQK Law consular processing, is a thorough thing from beginning to end of how it all works. I think that'd be really helpful for you to catch that. Christian asked about the I-290B as well. And there's no timelines. We'll have to see, and it depends on what happens to your case. It's just so unique. I can't answer. It's too generalized for me to answer here. Omar Nazi asked, Omar Nazim, the expected time frame for N400 is passed. What should we do? I don't know which time frame you mean. Get the interview or after your interview. If this interview is still pending, you could try making a request from the USCIS for delay. You could also get your congressperson involved maybe after that. Or if it's really, really past, you could do a lawsuit maybe after that. So there's different options that are potentially possible. Medio NYC asks, what's the disadvantages of non-separate I-130 case after getting naturalized? Disadvantage of a non-separate I-130 case after getting naturalized. I'm not sure what you mean a non-separate I-130 case. I'm not sure what that means. You have to clarify. Bronio asks, what's an I-90 for? An I-90, Form I-90 is to renew your green card. So if you have a 10-year green card and it's expiring or the green card is lost or something like that, you file Form I-90, or sometimes there's a typo on the green card. You file Form I-90, it's online or by paper, and it's an application to renew your permanent residency card. Quick note, we have a winner for our second of the 3 raffles, Nicola Bailey. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to schedule the free video consultation, please email my office a screenshot of where you're watching this so I can see your username and know it's you, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, and I'll send you a link so you can schedule a private video consultation. For those just tuning in, we give away free video consultations for winners of a raffle who all they need to do is like and subscribe wherever they're watching and write consultation in the comment section, and we'll pick someone out. We have one more that's coming in 8 minutes or so, one more winner, so don't hesitate to take part of that. But Nicola, congrats. I look forward to speaking with you. Medio and he follows up. Someone told me I-130 will go only for wife only and have to apply for my kids after citizenship. Yeah, that's very important. This is very important. People know this is a horrible, horrible situation people find themselves in. If you're a couple and you find your spouse, your minor children automatically come within that I-130 petition all in one. But if you're a U.S. citizen or you naturalize and become a U.S. citizen while the I-130 is pending and it's not complete or the whole case is not complete, the cases are taken apart. So you'll have to file for your wife and then for your kids separately, separate I-130s for each person if you're a U.S. citizen. So that may be a reason why you want to delay getting citizenship, because that's a serious problem because it's going to restart things. So it's something to be very mindful of. If you have to get citizenship, for example, from the very beginning, file I-130 petitions for every family member, spouse and kids separately. There's more filing fees for that, but it is what it is. But if you know you're going to be a green card holder until the case is done, then in that case, my case is done, I mean, not only the I-130 being approved, constant processing, getting the green card, all that stuff, until they have their green cards in hand, you have to remain an LPR, green card holder, lawful permanent resident. If you naturalize from a citizen, then the children's cases disappear and you got to restart this from scratch. I've seen people come to me with this issue. It's very devastating for the family, causes a lot of issues and delays. Princess Jakas asks, how long does it take to get your 10-year residency after medical? The medical is unrelated to getting residency. I mean, it's a requirement to get residency, but it's unrelated in time, and there's no perfect time frames. I can't answer that question. Viola asks, hi, for the N400, that's citizenship, they reuse biometrics, or is it different for each person? How does it work? Could you please explain that? So when someone files for naturalization for their citizenship application, there is a biometrics, a fingerprinting and photo requirement that you do that. If they have a recent copy of your biometrics in the system, it's possible that they may reuse those biometrics, but it's up to USCIS, internal procedures, whatever their computer tells them. That's about it. It doesn't matter at the end of the day for your life. Just if they get an appointment notice, if you get an appointment notice, go. If you don't, then you don't. Really, that's about it. It's one of those things that a lot of people think about and worry about, but at the end of the day, it's just a fingerprinting appointment. So don't waste any time thinking about that. Hassan says, can a guardian get benefits if the child becomes a citizen? No. I mean, there might be some random thing that I don't know about, but not really. Guardian is not a legal relationship for most immigration cases. Christian says, my I-290B was for marriage to U.S. citizen. Yeah, so for a marriage to U.S. citizen, you rarely, if ever, will file an I-290B unless there's like some serious USCIS error. It's usually faster to just refile the whole case, and since you're married to a U.S. citizen, you don't have to maintain status. I would need to review an individual case, see that's appropriate, but 9 out of 10 times, refiling is the thing to do. But sometimes 1 out of 10, it might just be the I-290B appeal. I just don't know the facts of your case, and it is a judgment call if you want to appeal or not. But typically, immigration lawyers won't appeal a U.S. citizen marriage case; they'll just refile it. Irving says, still no answer for DACA pathway to citizenship. No, there's nothing. User Digamberka says, have asylum work permit. My case in Philadelphia court. Can I work in different state? Yeah, once you have a work permit, it's an unlimited work permit. You're not bound to be in any state for that. Prab Singh asks, when asylum granted, can we travel to home country? We're not supposed to. When you get asylum, you're saying, this home country is a threat to me, so I'm not going to travel there or use their passport. Or the protections of that government include their passport. Now, a lot of people do that, and most of the time they don't say anything. But the law, and all I can talk about is the law, is you really shouldn't be going to your home country, traveling to it, or using your passport. You have to get what's called a refugee travel document and use that if you want to travel. If you want to go by the book. And obviously, you're going to talk to a lot of people who say, well, I went to my home country, no problem, use the passport, no country. And that is true, frankly. But legally, if they want to, they come down hard on you and try to revoke and take away your asylum. So it's just a risk you have to take if you need to take that. But legally speaking, I can't advise you to do that because the rules say you're not supposed to. Rizwan says, how long does it take for USCIS to sponsor a notice of intent to deny? There is no deadline that they have to go by. It could take forever. Medio NYC says, is there any solution for non-being in this situation? I don't know what non-being in the situation is. What was your question before? It was about I-130. I don't know, Medio. I got to talk with you, but if you're going to naturalize, then you got to, file the I-130s for your children separately. Hassan says, I'm a guardian of a child who has become a U.S. citizen. Can I get benefit from that? Probably not. There may be some exception, but most likely not. Ali Saydas, I'm a green card holder. My daughter has Down syndrome. Is her immigration case treated as normal, or is it treated as a special case? I haven't dealt with that. I'm not sure. You could always make the request, say I can't be separated from my child because of their condition. During Trump's time, that could be a potential public charge issue, but not right now, I don't think. I don't know exactly, but it's a situation that a lot of people have. So whether it's Down syndrome or other things. You just got to do it, and by special treatment or special case, if you mean it positive, as if to get it expedited, hey, it's worth a shot, and see what happens. Hassan asks, how long does it take for VAWA? It takes a lot of years for many cases. Irving asks, also, can DACA recipients travel to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Alaska, or go on cruises? Thanks. So you got to be very careful about that. I wouldn't recommend it. Typically, I know a DACA can travel within the United States, which includes Alaska, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. But you never know what happens. You'll be flying Alaska and the plane has engine difficulties and it lands in Canada. Now so you're out of luck. You're stuck in Canada. You can't come to the United States. Or you go to Puerto Rico and you get hassled because there'll be a port inspector there that gives you hassles. Or you do a cruise and the cruise has a stop in Mexico or something like that. So it's not really recommended for someone's DACA to play around with this, but it's up to you and the risks you want to take, and just be cautious. I just don't recommend it. Okay, Yana asks, is there any way to expedite a marriage-based green card interview when husband got orders to move to Japan, woman, wife is in the United States? By orders, you mean military orders? If so, you could always make a request. And also, if your spouse isn't here, they can still do the interview without them if they're leaving for medical reasons. But, there's issues with the affidavit support if it's non-military too. The work's continuing. It gets pretty individualized there, Yana. So I would need to have an individual consultation to get to know the case better to be able to answer that one. Mohammed Mutsi asks, hello, sir. I have a question about how long it takes to get citizenship because I'm still waiting for removal of conditions for more than 24 months and 13 months for citizenship request. It'll happen. If you file for citizenship, it'll happen when it happens. Unfortunately, I don't have the timelines are not up to me. Christiana says, thank you. You're welcome. It's something I can do for my citizen. I want to not getting this trouble for citizenship. Once you're a citizen, you got to have separate I-130s for each family member. This is, a lot of, then they back it up, and let's be honest, this is why you have an immigration attorney in the first place. Now, you probably are doing your citizenship case, the I-130s, do it yourself, probably going to get approved. But look, you saved a lot of money, maybe not using an attorney, but this one fact right here that you need separate I-130s is all of a sudden going to keep you separated from your children for 1 or 2 extra years. Right now, in some cases, maybe 3 or 4 years, I'm seeing. So it's like, this is why you got to come early, plan it out. Don't just think, oh, it's just a form of stuff. That this 1 minute of information is worth years of you and your family's lives what kind of price could you put on that? And this is why I say you got to get an immigration attorney. A lot of people say, oh, people are greedy, this and that. It's just so many different little nuances in this game, in immigration, unfortunately, that you get caught by. That you have to be very cautious. I have the marriage immigration guide that breaks down everything you need to do. I come on this and I answer it. So I'm open about trying to help people and give the information. But there's just so many different places where you can have problems that it's just good to have an immigration and one that cares and is actually listening to you and has a good reputation and it follows up and all that kind of stuff. Because, you say go talk to a lawyer, and there's some really crappy lawyers out there. But having said that, if anything I could do mid on NYCLS, take a screenshot of your watching this, email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. We'll schedule a free 15-minute video consultation to discuss further. Maybe there's some hope. We'll see. But yes, take a screenshot, email it to me. We'll have a free 15-minute video consultation. You'll be our third raffle winner. And hopefully I'll have some information I can help. But God bless Video NYCLS. I'll take like 2 more questions and then we'll call it a day. Hassan asks, can I get a refugee passport if my asylum case is in court? You have to be I don't know. I don't handle court cases. I don't handle asylum. Let's skip that. I don't have an answer to that. I don't think you can, but I don't deal with that. Dadalov says, what happens if they require your medical exam but not send you for biometrics exam? Well, they're gonna, when they say required medical exam, they're gonna have you come in person and give it, unless they specifically said to mail it to them. And if they didn't ask for biometrics, then they're gonna send it later, or they have it in the system. They would notify you. So I don't know. I have to see what's going on. I can't say. I have to see what's going on in your specific case. So I'll take one more question. Sonia asks, I've noticed that processing times for cases, specifically F2A, jump from December, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to timelines on USCIS.gov, they have no consistency. I just got approved from the Texas Service Center, which the timeline for a case that said it takes 2 years, I got approved in 4 months. There's no consistency in these processing times, so I don't like to get into it at all. Just file your case, and it is what it is. It may take longer, it may take shorter time, but don't sit and think about the case timelines. You're going to drive so crazy. That's just my experience. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, JK Law Firm, JK Clips YouTube page as well, LinkedIn for John Khosravi, Facebook page for JK Law, and TikTok, Immigration Lawyer John. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. God bless you. Be safe. And if you want to schedule an actual full consultation, email me at info@jqqlaw.com. Briefly describe the immigration issue that you have. Consultation fees do apply. If it's the type of case we can have a consultation about. Having said that, God bless. Be safe again.